Hey, we're live.
You're listening to the We Talk Nerd podcast about gaming, movies, and everything nerd. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Rob.
And we got some news this week to go over, maybe a little bit of reviews. So before we dive into that, let's talk to Rob and see what he's been up to.
Hey guys, missed out on the show last week. Hope you all had a good time.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah, definitely. Last week I was certainly down a little bit. There was something going around. The whole fam was sick. Not much I could do, but watch as the podcast went on without me. So yeah, definitely missed you guys, and I'm happy back this week.
Happy you're here.
Yeah. In the meantime, I've been playing some Tomb Raider, having a good time with that, and I've got a review for you guys a little bit later on in the show.
Nice, finally.
Yeah. Yes.
Was that on the Xbox, or the PC? I forget.
Xbox.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
He got the X,
The X.
top tier.
What about you, Andrew?
So I've been playing that game that everybody loves, Destiny 2 Forsaken.
Oh, that wasn't the one I was going to guess.
Oh boy. I've been playing a lot of that really because there's that grind is still there. I'm up to raid ready, and
Nice.
I think I'll be leading a raid this week, so we'll see how I do, and then I can give someone a review next week if I even get through it. But I got a gun that basically has revitalized my love for this game, and that's what exotic, like when you get an exotic, you try it out and you're like, this is just amazing. So if anyone out there doesn't have this gun, Ace of Spades, go get it, because it'll just change your whole entire perspective on
You
hand
have
cannons.
to listen to the song while you use that gun all the time.
You do. Actually, you have to. Yeah, it's great.
It's
So,
required.
lot of Destiny 2. I want to get back into playing more Switch, so I ordered Super Mario Party,
Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit.
okay.
and it'd be fun with the family, I think.
Nice.
And just waiting for that. Yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Well, I've dipped my toes into the little bit of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah, put my little big toe into the little
When you say
Mediterranean
dip your
Sea.
toes, it's not like dipping your toes into the entire ocean of the entire world. Because,
It's a pretty
my
big
God,
game,
that
right?
game looks gigantic.
Yeah. It really is. The map is surprisingly very large. There's a lot of water, and I'm very intimidated about it. I definitely don't think I'm going to finish before Red Dead comes out. So
See, that was the problem. That's why I didn't pre-order it.
Yep.
I can't take those kind of challenges, those kind of risks.
but I'm gonna play it and enjoy it just like with anything else, and also try a little bit of Mario Party. And I'll talk about that some. And so we'll dive right into it and start talking about things.
Yes.
So
Let's
in
do
the
it.
last episode, we talked about how Telltale was going under. They went bankrupt. They were canceling the last season of The Walking Dead. But good news, fans of The Walking Dead, Skybound Games, which is actually the company owned by, what is it? Is his name Kirkman?
Yep, Robert Kirkman.
Kirkman, the writer
makes
for
Awesome
Walking Dead.
comics.
Yep.
He's obviously the Walking Dead guy, but has also makes another series called Invincible that if you haven't checked out, would be good to take a look at. It's really fun.
So Skybound Game, his company, actually got into a deal with Telltale to finish the last season of The Walking Dead. So
Nice.
They should also make the next season of Batman and the next Wolf Among
Wolf
Us.
Among Us,
and,
right,
Yeah,
right.
whatever
depending
else.
how things go, they might. From what I understand, they're actually, I think, bringing on a couple of the devs from Telltale to finish it up. And I guess maybe if it sells well enough and does well enough, that maybe Skybound Games will bring them on. I don't know.
I hope so. Those Telltale games are some of my favorite games out there. I would love to see them, live on. Maybe not necessarily under Telltale, but just the spirit of it. Like those kind of adventures, you just don't see them anymore, and the games are different now because of them. So
Yeah, they're kind of like the follow up to the point and click series that used to be around back in the day.
well, the choices, right?
Yeah,
You never really saw choices
The
like
feels
that
bad
in
man
games.
choices.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Clem will remember that.
Yeah, I know these devs are so talented as well. Having that name on their resume, they'll find jobs. They'll find jobs.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I'm hopefully thinking good things turn out for that.
Mhm.
again, Civ 6 was out for the iPad not too long ago, but it has actually finally made its way over to your iPhone. So if you really hate your iPhone battery, you just want to kill it as fast as you can, I suggest downloading Civ 6 and giving that a shot.
When you say download, is it paid for? Obviously.
I think the full unlock is like $25 for the full game.
That's hefty for an iPhone app.
It is hefty, but it is the entire Civ 6 experience you would experience on PC.
On your phone, which is much, much smaller.
From what I understand, even if it's plugged into a power bank or into the wall, your battery will still drain.
Oh, jeez. That game made my, like, I remember when I got like my first like i7, so this is going back a little while. I think it was like Civ 5. I was like, oh yeah, let me try and like see like how quickly I'll like grind through the things. It still made my computer like go to a crawl.
They're hefty,
like,
man.
Civ just yeah, it computes. That game computes.
So I think I read somewhere that someone did like 50 turns and it used like 20% of the battery or something. That's a lot. So, but I mean, it is a good time killer. I'll give it that.
Right.
Kind of a good good type of game on your phone.
Yeah, no complaints here. I love Civ. I used to play Revolutions on the phone, much more watered down, but I think it was maybe a little more appropriate for that type of format. Friendly. So I guess time will tell. But I would like to play it on like a large format iPad. I feel like that would be like the perfect way to play. Oh yeah, that's the whole reason I bought a Microsoft Surface.
The big iPad Pro or whatever. Yeah. That'd be pretty crazy. Speaking of other crazy things, Borderlands 3 is reports coming out, speculations, rumors. It's actually going to release next year.
Who said this? I want to know.
I don't know what the exact source is. I just know everybody's kind of reporting on it.
Okay.
It was 2K Games said it.
Did they?
Well, no, not really. It was so there was an announcement that a high-profile game that everyone is anticipating will be released next year, and people have connected the dots to say that was Borderlands 3.
2K20 is what they're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so let's put it in perspective. Anthem, Division 2, Borderlands 3 in 1 year. There goes my life.
It's a hefty year.
I'll be honest with you, Borderlands 3 goes to the top of that list. Overall.
I'm also hearing things that Cyberpunk will be out next year, too.
Then it has just dropped to number 2.
So, yeah, if all these games come out next year, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nintendo better step it up somehow. I don't know how, but...
Yeah. I mean, of course, we got Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing. I mean, Nintendo's not lacking. They just don't really have anything big. They've already got their 2 big titles already. But... who knows? We'll see. 2019 is shaping up to be a pretty exciting year. And hopefully, with all these releases coming out in 2019, we'll finally see crossplay between all platforms because Sony has finally opened up the floodgates for the Fortnite players to be released to all the other, the other cross-platform platforms you can play on.
So has news come out since, like, I know it was last week that they actually said it was in beta. Now, are you saying that this is now a full release?
From what I understand, yeah, it's out there. Everybody, if you're on PS4, you can go play with somebody else somewhere.
Right, so I thought that was like that. That's basically saying Sony's saying they're opening up Fortnite. That's a beta test. Like they're not actually saying we're not opening up everything as of yet. So my questions are like, what's next? Because if they can keep that going, they're gonna get more trust from all of the other gamers out there saying that they're actually going to open it up. Because opening up for one game, that's fine. But Sony has said all these things before, right?
Well, it really is
dramatic change, though. Like, think about this.
It is.
There was a walled garden in which you played with your PlayStation friends and no one else. There was another walled garden that Xbox had, and just Xbox folks. And then somehow, like in the past year, it was like, oh yeah, we can play cross-platform, so we're just going to go ahead and do it. And Sony's the only one that's been holding out. All the other ones seem to take it on. I feel like even though that should be the new norm, it's still kind of a big change.
It is.
And kind of shame on Sony for holding back, but at the same time, they really only held back for like a year. I'm not going to give them too much crap for it because it is the worst kind of change for a corporation, and Andrew will know this. It is not so much a technical change, but a policy change. And a political change or a policy change for an organization is like one of the hardest things, because that's got to be, you got to convince people like all the way up the chain that, hey, it's okay for us to do things different now.
Right.
And doing things different is scary and makes people upset.
I was giving them a little bit of crap because of them turning the Fortnite down when it originally was open by mistake.
Yeah,
remember that?
by mistake.
So then they said, no, that's not going to happen. And everyone else is like, why not? So they kept questioning that, and now they kind of turned around on it. So
I mean, they kind of had to.
Yeah, so the next question is, like, make Rocket League. That's obvious. Very obvious.
Obvious choices.
And then then get Overwatch and Siege on there. You know, that would basically overturn like anything, you know, bad against Sony, in my opinion. So we'll go from there.
We had games like we have Fallout 76 coming out this month, and we've had Todd come out and say that they wanted to do crossplay, but Sony said they didn't want to do it, so they haven't really enabled it for anything else. Do you think that maybe we'll see games like Fallout or Destiny or Anthem into the future? Maybe
it depends on how popular Fallout 76 gets. I don't know how popular it's going to be because it's not a real Fallout release. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of rough, but we'll have to see how number one, check the reviews on it. If it comes out high, gets a lot of players, then yeah, that could be one of those things like a Rocket League or like a Fortnite that makes people do it. But it's hard to say, games that are projected to come out, there'll be a lot of discussions and people like kind of stomping for it, but who knows until it actually comes out and people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to play this all the time.
Right.
Yeah. I think, me personally, I think it should be, crossplay should be a staple for everything, but we'll see how things go forward. Yeah, so what's up with Xbox? We talked about PlayStation a little bit. Tell me about what's going on with Xbox.
Xbox is adding keyboard and mouse support. After they've, I believe, stated a long time ago that they were never going to do this. So, with the keyboard and mouse support, of course they're going to have a partnership with Razer, right? Of course they're going to have that. Yeah. So, what Microsoft is planning to do is share this this release and, of course, their new Razer partnership during an Xbox Inside Company stream, Xbox stream on November 10th. So we'll see more about that. But a quote from Jason Reynolds says, "Mouse and keyboard input is not enabled by default for games." So it means like the programmers have to program for it. So each development team knows that their titles knows their titles best, and we support them in creating the right experience for their games as they see fit, to ensure optimal and fair gaming experiences. Because you're putting mouse and keyboard support on a console where it was originally just made for controllers, so stuff like Overwatch, Siege, those kinds of things will get, they'll get a little bit more competitive, right? If you have mouse and keyboard support.
This is true.
And that's only if they support it. So we'll see where they take it from there. And of course, November 10th, we'll see the new Razer, I guess, mouse and keyboard for the Xbox One.
It's cool to see the lines blur between Xbox and PC. Like, it's almost, Xbox is almost just a PC, like a prepackaged PC game.
Or like a terminal, or something, yeah.
Well, that was always the conceit with it. Back when the original Xbox launched in 2001, it's got a hard drive like a PC. It's got a discrete graphics card like a PC. It's got a process like a Intel processor like a PC. There was all sorts of parallels there that it was going to be very easy to develop for just not only PC and Xbox, but at the same time. So I think they're kind of coming back around to that. They realize that performance they put out with the Xbox One and truthfully the PS4 original too was just kind of shameful. That really wasn't good enough quality
for a next gen.
For a next gen to last 10 years. It was outdated in 2 years.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's strong stuff. But I'll be interested to see how people take this keyboard and mouse thing going forward, because there's a different level of of play compared to controllers and aim assist and that kind of thing.
Absolutely right.
Something to look into or watch out for is that the author of the Witcher series is actually demanding payment from CD Projekt. I think it's just CD Projekt. I think Reds is the division of CD Projekt, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's brought this up a couple times. This has happened pretty much with every major release that they've had where Andrzej Sapkowski doesn't feel like he's getting the the proper payment for the for what he's provided. I guess they've got a contract with him. I'm sure they've worked it out to this is what you get paid for making this kind of game, and this is what your royalties look like. And he's known to have, I wouldn't say money troubles, but just he's been known to raise a lot of issues about these contracts and putting it out there that he's not been treated fairly. I feel like he's probably way better off now financially than he was before because these books were only in Polish prior to The Witcher 1 coming out, and they only got translated really because of the popularity of the game. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he is due some extra money or whatever, but I would say the popularity of The Witcher would not be anywhere without those games.
From what I've read, it's that whenever they first approached him, they wanted to sign this royalty thing, and he just told them no and just wanted one big payout, and that's what he took. And now he's wanting more. The original. Yeah,
originally he got 100,000 or something. It was oh great, and then they became a phenomenon.
But kind of coming off of that is that the CD Projekt Red, the division of CD Projekt, actually established a partnership with DigitalScape to work on some things with games. And DigitalScape is actually, according to their LinkedIn profile, they're multiplayer specialist. They worked on Dying Light. They had a little bit of stuff with Dead Island, and a couple of their developers are actually former BioWare veterans. So,
a partnership with DigitalScape, Cyberpunk 27 is coming out, multiplayer specialists. Are we thinking multiplayer for this game?
Possible.
I don't know. That would prolong the game, right?
They could pull a whole Red Dead thing where they release the the single player thing and then come down the road with here's Cyberpunk Online.
They can totally do that.
They're still releasing stuff for The Witcher.
Yeah.
I mean,
they actually have was it the new card game expansion that came out?
Yes, they have a story-based card game expansion RPG coming out.
Yeah.
That I don't know that they're even charging for. They're just here's more game for you since you guys seem to like the last one we made.
That's true.
Yeah. I forget what that one's called, but it seems kind of
Gwent.
It's Gwent, but it's the queen of somewhere, and she was it's like a historical telling of a battle. From Witcher's past that's come up in some of the games, but I'll be looking into it. But I never got into Gwent in terms of outside of the main game, so I'm not really all the way up on it. But they keep supporting it, and that's important because lots of games, are put out there. They're like, "Hey, this is so awesome," and then it just kind of dies off.
Yeah. Ouch.
I didn't hear you. I'm gonna. What's the next point?
You can just guess. But something else has had the kind of, I guess, the news wheels turning this week in the game industry was someone leaked a Harry Potter RPG trailer. Not something. It was just straight up a trailer that was supposed to be released at a later time. That was just put out there in the world for everybody to watch. I personally didn't see it. I think Andrew said he's seen a little bit of it.
I've seen a little bit of it. It looks really cool, actually. It's your third person RPG. You get to create your character. They actually showed the creation of your character, and it looks older. They said fifth year.
I think fifth year coming in.
Yeah, fifth year coming in, and you're unlocking some secret powers, and you're in Hogwarts, trying to figure it all out and save the wizarding world, right? So. In my opinion, I saw a lot of magic, obviously, but traversing spaces or even destroying all obstacles and stuff. It's really cool. It looks really cool. And now, what else came out of it though?
Well, it's actually they said it's open world. Like I said, it was rumored for a little bit. People are talking about maybe it was being made by Rocksteady, which is of course the Arkham guys. But that was actually turned down, and no, that's not happening. It's actually in development by Avalanche, which seems to be the creators of Disney Infinity.
Right.
So, I mean,
and one other very, very important game that you
Avalanche. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Mad Max.
No. So there's Avalanche Studios and Avalanche. There's two studios.
Oh yeah.
So this one's like called Avalanche Studios, which is the one I think. Yeah,
well,
Avalanche Studios is Mad Max.
was under Warner Brothers.
They were.
Yeah,
that would be the same people then, because Warner Brothers is actually doing the.
They also made The Hunter, Call of the Wild.
Just a second.
Just Cause 3.
Maybe we're getting our Avalanches mixed up here.
Could be, but it is Avalanche Studios. But if Warner
Avalanche
Brothers
Software, Avalanche Software is the one we're talking about.
Warner Brothers has 2 development houses called Avalanche. One being called Avalanche Studios and one called Avalanche Software. That seems crazy talk.
Yeah. Either way, we don't know, but it's still speculation.
I like to think that it's going to incorporate a lot of the Mad Max elements into your Harry Potter.
That would be nice.
Yeah, we're gonna take our broomsticks. We're gonna pimp out our broomsticks and ran into
Bucket, no.
Jump Bucket, no. That's a great game, by the way. It's a great game.
Mad Max is
fantastic game.
But I've personally been waiting for a Harry Potter game like this magnitude, and that seems like a cool way to do it. So we'll see if it turns out to be what everybody's kind of been waiting for. Now, for a game that everybody's been waiting for years, and this never came out. I'm just kidding. I'm talking about some WoW Classic rumors, or they could be actual leaks.
We call it Vanilla WoW. Is the
for some
name
people
for
it's actually Vanilla WoW. Yeah, so this is the we talked a little bit last week about the demo being available to people with BlizzCon, the virtual BlizzCon tickets and everything. It's going to be playable on the show floor. But I've actually read a couple things from the people that predicted, or not really predicted, or said that the demo will be included with BlizzCon tickets. So it seems kind of reliable a little bit because they were kind of spot on with what's already come out before. But some of the things they talked about is that the sub for it is going to be included into your retail sub. So if you pay for WoW currently, the Classic WoW is included in that. Okay. Or you can just do Classic WoW by itself at a cheaper rate than the standard WoW.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's okay.
Some things people have been concerned about. It will have the older character models, but spells, the overall graphics will be better, but it's still using older character models and I guess enemy models with better
WoW remastered.
Effects. Yeah, probably.
That's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be 8 servers per region, and there's like 4 PvP, like 2 PvE, then 1 RP PvP, and 1 RP PvE. So not a whole lot of servers, because, I think they've been through this before. But a lot of
people
servers.
Forgot what a corpse run looked like.
Yeah.
And they're going to get reintroduced. Like, the quality of life stuff isn't going to be there anymore.
There's a lot of quality of life.
Yeah, there is now, but
yeah, that's what I mean. There is now that wasn't in the game then.
Yeah, so I wonder how many people are gonna love the. Now
but
it was
the nostalgia,
grindier.
Though, man.
There's a lot of
nostalgia.
To be honest, the grind was there under vanilla.
Yeah,
that wasn't necessarily there now. So.
The weapon leveling grind.
There's so much.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they're actually going. There's actually they've actually released the BlizzCon panel schedule with all the different what's going to be there. One of the panels is actually a classic system talk. They talk about all the different systems and stuff they're going to be using for classic. So we'll have more information about it in less than a month. We'll talk
and
about
your BlizzCon, you got to tell us about that too. Nice, cool.
And, we're according to this leak, it is we're looking actually at an April or June of next year release.
That's crazy. I was thinking that would be another year out. Yeah.
Yeah. Normally you would have this thing talked about. Maybe like Gamescom's done. So what's the?
It's BlizzCon's next, and that's less than a month. So.
But they're not good. Well,
they'll talk a lot about it at BlizzCon, I'm sure.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Save it for BlizzCon.
Yeah. And another big thing people have been asking about if it'll have Battle.net, because Battle.net really wasn't a thing back then. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it'll be limited into the classic game, and it'll be even more limited, even extremely limited in PvP scenarios.
Sure.
So,
now, I mean, did they really say like how vanilla it's going to get? Is it going to be like pre?
From what I heard, it's supposed to be patch 1.12 or something like that. or 1.11.
Oh, so definitely before the Burning Crusade. Then.
It's like the last major patch before the pre-patch for Burning Crusade.
Okay.
But they haven't said if all the raids will be there, if they're going to stagnate.
I wonder if Captain Placeholder will still be there.
Yeah. But I think they'll have all of the quality of life that was implemented before Burning Crusade put in. So I don't think it'll be day one.
Because that was like a couple of years of improvement that was, to be honest, really needed, because 1.0 release was rough.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a different game.
I just can't wait for the Leroy Jenkins remixes. I just really can't. It'd be great to see.
There's a lot of things, a lot of things that's playing off.
I don't know. I feel like you could still go relive a lot of that stuff. It's kind of tough to think that like Blackrock Depths was like such a like terrible place to be, and like, oh no, everyone's gonna wipe it. Now you could like solo it. It's
but
it's
that's
so
the whole
rough to
fun.
see.
That's the whole fun of it. That was a like raid in itself.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That was like, people, you need to be on point for this.
Yeah, long.
Oh man, I can't wait. All right,
Tell
cool.
me, so someone else tell us some news here real fast.
Sure. So I was just digging through my news feed, and Guerrilla Games, makers of some small indie games on PlayStation, like Horizon Zero Dawn,
Killzone.
Yeah, Killzone. I mean, some of the smaller ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Really small. Really small.
They have hired some multiplayer devs from the Rainbow Six Siege team for an unannounced upcoming game. On their LinkedIn profile, it says "Secret game is secret." So they're definitely not letting any spoilers get out right now. But they have hired some people from arguably one of the most played multiplayer competitive games there is right now.
Yeah.
So you might see a Killzone with some Rainbow Six Siege mixed in, or maybe even better, some Horizon Zero Dawn with some
that would be interesting.
Rainbow Six Siege, which I would love to see. But either way, it's good to see. They've never really brought in that kind of talent, I don't think so. Interesting little blurb, and I'll be watching it. I'm a big fan of theirs ever since playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Was not a Killzone guy, but Horizon Zero Dawn's probably one of my best games ever.
Same. Cool.
Yeah, we'll
Andrew?
see. Yeah.
What do you got? You got a bunch of random notes here.
No, this is the last bit of news, I believe, and I thought it was pretty big considering that Google is now stepping into the streaming games area, and they call it Google's Project Stream.
Wait, so wasn't that actually called YouTube Gaming?
No. This is different. We're talking about streaming a game.
Oh, so
just like PlayStation Now, or maybe back then, if you guys, I think it was some other companies have done it before.
Online,
so you're streaming isn't talking about
online. That's a good one. Yes,
cloud gaming.
Cloud gaming, yeah. So this is a technical test, and in streaming actual AAA games and to like a Chrome browser, and it started with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, free for testers right now as long as you sign up, right? So obviously the minimum connection to play is 25 megabits per second, and that's like on a good for smooth gameplay on a laptop or desktop with Chrome installed. And to sign up for this test pool, you just need to live in the US, be 17, and it's entirely free. But take note that the test runs lasts until January 15th, and then you'll lose those achievements. So for this Assassin's Creed Odyssey game, so they've taken game streaming to the next level because Google's taking it over, and hopefully like people will start following suit and maybe getting our connection speeds up to par with something like this, because it's gonna take a lot, right? It's gonna take a lot of connection, and 25 megabits. That's probably still top tier for like in US.
A lot of US, or even probably really top tier for the world.
Right,
but,
right.
Because this is being played in Chrome, you're gonna need at least 32 gigs of RAM
at a minimum.
So what I'm looking forward to this, and I brought this news up to, is like they're getting in beta test. I read the article about streaming Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it said it is doing very well over this internet, over like a hardwired connection at 100 megabits, which I have. So that's something to think about. So if they start releasing it, Yeah, like imagine like just opening up your phone saying cast my stream to my TV if using a Chromecast. There, I'm gonna play some games or something. That's just in the future, but I can see that happening.
What if you said xCloud, stream some games to my TV?
I don't know. What was that about?
You'd probably have to say Cortana, stream some games to my my third-party provider. What I'm referring to, of course, is the news that dropped today about the xCloud. Familiar with that?
No. What's up?
Xbox has announced their own streaming service in which they're going to allow you to play Xbox games anywhere on anything. Phone, tablet, other consoles would be fantastic.
I love playing Gears of War on my PlayStation.
I want to install it on my Wii U. That'd be pretty great.
Nice.
But yeah, so Google's not alone with this. Xbox is going to be doing their streaming stuff too.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's called right now, unfortunately, named xCloud. So we'll have to see what that actually means in the future. But Microsoft is right there, hot on the heels of Google, and when you talk games, Google is not the first company that jumps in your mind as far as like who's really got the experience there. This might be the game changer that Xbox needs to be able to compete, because it's definitely not their first party games that are gonna carry them over PlayStation. So they're just going to make it that much easier to play an Xbox game, regardless of what you have in terms of hardware.
Or have to make it so easy that it'd be dumb not to buy it.
Exactly.
I mean, that goes along with their next system ideas. Is one terminal, which is like a light tier, and then your hardcore terminal or whatever, which is like your basic Xbox. So yeah, they're building toward that. Yeah.
And with this xCloud, you'll have to play it through Internet Explorer, so that'll be even worse.
Excuse me, Microsoft Edge. Thank you very much.
Edge. I'm so sorry. Edge.
Don't worry, we'll Skype about it later.
Oh yeah, we'll Skype about it. But
I'll message you over LinkedIn, and then we'll link about it.
And our Microsoft Word document.
Right, on our 365.
Yes.
Word
Office
doc.
365.
Okay, get us out of this hell.
Anyway, on to reviewing something. Unfortunately, I don't have like in-depth reviews for any of these games because I got really short periods with each one of them. But I'll give it like a kind of get an intro into it, and then I'll talk about a good review later. But I played some Super Mario Party, me and my wife. So it was 2 players, and it's a 4-player game. So we had 2 computers playing against. I liked it because I'm a big fan of the original Mario Parties where you had a board and you rolled dice and you ran around the board individually. As of the last couple iterations of Mario Party, they went to the what I call the cart style, or the I don't know, the car where everybody gets into one vehicle and goes around the board at the same time. And I wasn't a fan of that. Because it kind of took away the competition. Because back in the day, it was kind of like, I'm the furthest on the board. I'm getting, toward the stars faster. But, this has gone back a little bit. I played on one of the maps. It was a very small map. It was the very first map. I think they get larger as you go on. But, yeah, it was very cool, very interesting. It reminds me of a lot of the original games. The mini game system was a little bit different. Instead of landing on a tile and mini games come up, it was like after everybody goes, mini game pops up. You go again, and mini game pops up. And it was kind of random if it was going to be a 4v1 or a 2v2 and that kind of thing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I liked it. The boards overall are a lot smaller than the other games, but at the same time, the dice rolls are a whole lot smaller. So instead of rolling like 5s all the time and then barely going around the board, you roll like a 2. And, you still kind of get that same distance because the board is a lot smaller.
That's good. Yeah, there's a lot of randomness in the last one. I had a lot of fun playing it. We would have a few folks over and like share on the, share and play on that. And it was fun, but yeah, like you would have someone get out like so far ahead and there'd be no way to catch back up unless you just had bad luck. And sometimes you'd have someone with such bad luck to be at the beginning the whole game. Yeah, there's no way for them to catch up.
I think it brings back the original too, where you can steal stars from Boo.
You can steal stars.
And at the very end, you don't know if you're gonna win or not because you get rated. Stars. You get bonus stars, and that's what made Mario Party amazing, in my opinion, because it doesn't happen until the end.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that can happen at the end. Yeah, it was pretty. There's actually a or one of the CPUs is in last place the whole time, and then at the end he like kind of like snuck up the second place, and we're like, oh my god, I swear if his computer wins.
I can't wait to that feeling again. That's a good feeling. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the smaller board because I'm kind of a fan of the bigger board. But the more I think about it, there's more impactful things on the board instead of having to just a bunch of coin spaces. So
cool.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Lots of fun. I'm gonna play a little bit more, play a bit different because there is different modes. There's like there's what we played was what they considered Mario Party mode. I think there is still a kart style couple boards on that game as well as just playing mini games by themselves.
Okay.
So I'll check it all out and get back to you later on that one. And then the next game I want to jump into a little bit we've talked about was Assassin's Creed, a game that Rob is probably still burnt out on.
I was burnt out just watching a Twitch stream on it.
Yeah. So this game is very similar to Origins.
I noticed a lot of the same graphics.
Yeah, I would say the graphics look a little bit better.
Well, they're using some of the same. I mean, you can't go from one year to the next and not reuse some of the same. That being said, it looks like such an incredible game. Like nothing about it makes me think that it's a game that I won't pick up on the Black Friday sale. It took so much of my time to play through that game. It was like 8 months before I finally finished that game.
Yeah,
and I was playing off and on, so I got to wait till I got some more downtime.
Yeah, the last one was probably about 60 hours, and I could say this one's also probably about 60 hours.
That's good for an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah,
just
a lot of content. That was
I don't
60
play
hours.
Like you guys, though.
Yeah,
I don't play like you guys. I go back and I finish everything before I go into the next place.
That's great.
Oh, that's what
killed me to like speed run through the last like 10 hours of Assassin's Creed Origins because I was seriously doing every mission, every unlockable in each place. I might have 200 hours in Origins.
Really? Ooh. I mean, I'll put easily. 60. I put 60 into it, and I'm at 100% on it. I did all the stuff into it. But anyway, if you like Origins, you'll definitely like this game. It's same engine, a lot of the same assets. They've improved on a lot of things. It's definitely more polished. Still some bugs. It's still a Ubisoft game. I've already encountered a bug where I can't even complete a side quest, which is pretty annoying. Some of the cool things I have to know is that instead of having a big talent tree like you had in the last one, it's ability focused. So you get the ability points, and then you can only have like 8 abilities at a time. So you have to pick and choose which abilities you have in a loadout. One of the big ones is bows. They've changed how the bows play out. So in the last game, there's like probably 4 or 5 different bow types.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of different bow types, but what about the crafting? Like, did you have to? You still have to steal as much?
You still have to get the resources for like your boat, and in this game it's engraving instead of like upgrading each piece individually. You do like an enchant or an engrave on your armor for a bonus, and that's where you spend your resources instead of
just by customizing the armor you do have already.
Right.
Okay. Right. Interesting. Because in the other one you kept upgrading your armor and you kept adding on more things.
Right.
One thing as an Assassin's Creed player to another, growing up on the originals, I really liked the fact that it was somewhat historical in nature. And I was watching a stream and I noticed that you have to fight Medusa, which I don't think ever really happened in history.
Right.
How does it feel to be a little more on the mythology side as opposed to
I haven't really
historical?
I haven't really got that much into it. For where I'm at right now, it's still quote unquote historical.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, spoilers, Rob.
Gosh. But it is still focused on
I don't care.
It's still I would say, I don't know, it's kind of odd. Well, but when you play a game like this in this kind of setting, it's nice, maybe still have that mythical side, because I think it'd probably be pretty boring just to be, historically accurate. Maybe.
I don't know. It could be like 300, like all the way through, right?
Yeah,
like that was fun.
It could be. There's a lot of the 300 elements in this game as well.
Sure.
They just run out of ideas though with Assassin's Creed. They made so many games. They got to do something different. And I'm thinking this is the way to go. It's just go crazy with it.
Right? If you did play Origins, you would notice that there was actually some not what was someone would consider non-historical moments as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the fighting the snake and stuff. But
Yeah.
that was kind of like a hallucination.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think that this one necessarily is. Like you don't
Yeah.
fight the undead in Origins, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't got that far into it yet, so we'll see. I'll talk about more about that later when I do a more in-depth review.
All right.
The combat is definitely different. It's not like it was in the last one. It's a little different. Feels nice. But yeah, like I said, I just start into it. I'll review it a little bit later. I'm about 5 hours in, so it's only about 10%. I just kind of finished the intro island, which was really fun and really cool. And just putting a stat out there, right now, this is the highest played Assassin's Creed game that's ever been released. It's actually 33% higher than Origins.
What does that mean?
I mean, this is
Like how many hours are being played on it?
no, like
or?
people. I mean, people.
Oh, player base.
Yeah, player base.
Has
Largest
bought
player
it
base.
and turned it on and played probably, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's no multiplayer.
Right.
Do you still have to avenge people?
I actually haven't noticed that.
I always felt like that was a bit of a distraction. It was
I never did
interesting because you'd be like, hey,
So and so died over here.
Honkers 420 died, and you need to go avenge him, and you go fight the people that killed him, I guess.
Yeah, I never did this.
But it never really flowed appropriately. It was always like an interruption.
Right.
And Honkers kept dying all the time. He was terrible at this game.
But yeah, that's all I'll talk about those games so far. So I'll talk more about those later. Now, Rob, tell us about your game.
Sure. So I'm trying to get my way through this. It's a great game, and it is consuming all of my time and my attention. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think I spoke about it a little bit earlier, saying it was a must-buy pre-order for me, and then it turns out no one else did. No one else. I don't see anyone streaming it. I don't see any hype around it. And I thought, oh man, I must have really made a mistake. There's no hype around this game. I made a bad decision on my pre-order. But in reality, it's got what you expect from a Tomb Raider game, at least the new ones since 2012. High production values, top of line. Great music, outstanding art, incredibly varied locations and locales, great voice acting. It's got tried and true gameplay, so if you enjoyed the previous ones, it's going to give you everything you were looking at before, and you're going to be able to feel very familiar when you go into a dungeon, or almost like by instinct. You're like sliding down a cliffside and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do once I get to the bottom of this? It's going to feel very natural about jumping off and lodging into the craggy rock and scaling the mountain.
I like that.
Yeah, so it definitely sticks to the Tomb Raider formula, and it's important because it feels like you didn't miss a beat, right? So if you did play Rise of the Tomb Raider and you really like that one, you're coming right back into it. It's a lot of the same feel. In fact, it feels like no time has passed between the two. With that said, though, there is kind of a caveat. It's not terribly innovative. There are some new things that are on top of this, but for the most part, it's the same game that you played before in terms of the mechanics. And sadly, even some of the storyline. You come across a forgotten group of people, and you become their champion and kind of bring them through to the next era that they need to go into against the big bad.
Isn't the enemy always the same in the Tomb Raider?
The enemy has always been Trinity. So Trinity from the Matrix is as a corporation, and it's it's been stealing artifacts and everything. You never see her, but you always see this corporation.
She's got a lot of money.
Yeah, she's got tons of money. Stupid rich.
I think you hit it on the nose though. Like you wouldn't be terribly like you pre-ordered it, you made a mistake, but like let's say Black Friday comes around, $30, right? It wouldn't be a bad pickup. at all.
Yeah.
Specifically for someone that's played Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I thought was amazing, by the way.
Sure.
So,
Well, I'm going to even say this is a borderline great game. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
yeah.
And I mean, that's right beneath like the threshold for great. Not that this game, I feel like if this game came out instead of Rise, we'd all be like praising it for being such a fun game and such an amazing. Yeah, but it's the fact that it's more of the same means, okay, it's for the fans. You know what you're getting into. If you didn't love the originals, then you're not going to love this one because it's just there's nothing different about it. But if you like those, it's more the same. You're going to be satisfied with it. Some of the combat's been refined. Some of the crafting is a little bit smoother. Overall, it's still a very good game. So
Are we still talking about Assassin's Creed? Because all that stuff kind of applies.
well, exactly. They took some time, and I'll be honest with you. The main difference between this and Assassin's Creed is they took it in a totally different location. So you might have played the Rise of the Tomb Raider in kind of more of a desert kind of locale, whereas this one is in a very lush jungle in Peru, and they have nailed the feel of it in terms of going around and navigating through a dense jungle.
That's cool.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed is kind of just 100 miles away from the previous one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's right across the water, right?
Yeah, you just kind of open the map and it's like, oh, we were just a couple hundred miles that way.
Still have missions to do over there.
Cool. Thanks for that.
With all that said, there is a part that made me feel a little bad, and I'll share that.
Oh.
So there is a crafting element in Tomb Raider where you have to improve your weapons by getting raw materials. You need oil and metal and leather. And leather is found by hunting for animals. So in previous games, you would hunt like a goat or like something like
or a bear,
or a bear, right? So in this one, howler monkeys are one of the are one of the animals you can find.
Where's PETA when you need them?
No.
And the funny thing is, howler monkeys don't like run away when one of them dies. So there'll be 10 of them sitting on a branch, and you can just keep picking them off one by one, and they just keep falling into the ground like lifelessly in front of you. And the ones next to them don't even like think about it. They're just like, oh yeah, this got a little more room. It's more comfortable in this branch now. Boom,
leather.
And yes, that is how you get your leather. If you're looking for if you've played the game early on, you'll come across a bunch of howler monkeys. Go ahead and favorite that on your map, because anytime you run out of leather and you need more, just come back and kill whatever howler monkeys replace the ones.
Pro tips from Rob.
Tip.
Yes. All right.
All right. Moving on. Games
monkeys are friends.
The week. I refuse to do the Metacritic.
Not crafting material. I like that, Ninja. I like that. All right, yeah.
They're definitely crafting materials.
They're definitely crafting for games, yeah. We talked about a couple of games, and we do game scores of the week to give you perspective on what's been released and what their scores look like. So now Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I know Brandon said he was going to give a more in-depth review later down the road, but from all perspective of Xbox, PC, PS4, we're giving some pretty interesting...
pretty high.
Yeah, pretty high, but also PS4 is a little odd. So Xbox, 87, really high. Great game.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great game. PC, 90. That's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
PS4, 83. This is weird to me. This is a little weird. Why would it drop so many points for a PS4?
Usually Assassin's Creed in the past has always been marketed as the play on the PlayStation, as a game that, home to the PlayStation, but it's got a lower score.
Right. Mm-hmm. I like to get a perspective on like who's playing on Xbox. I mean, obviously, and then who's playing on PS4 and why it's worse. But moving on, Forza Horizon 4. Now that's a very high score of 92.
Yeah, it's actually our week leader in terms of high scores combined across PC and Xbox.
Probably the highest in a while.
Yeah, right. And I really enjoyed Forza Horizon 3. And for anyone that doesn't, if you don't know this, if you have that Xbox Game Pass,
That's included.
you already have it. You already have this game. Go ahead and go download it and play it on either Xbox or on PC.
For
It's,
some,
available
for
to
some
you.
reason, if you're playing Sea of Thieves and you're like, I really want to race a car, you can.
Yes. Go from ship to car.
I've been seeing a lot of just screenshots in our community Discord, people playing it, and it looks fantastic. I thought it was just like an actual picture at one point. I was just like, it's a picture of a castle and the card in front of it. It's like, oh, it's just a picture. And actually, no, it's a game. That's actually a game. So pretty amazing.
Unfortunately, they don't have the warthog from Halo that I rolled around in last time.
Give it time.
Give it some time.
Eventually. But Horizon games have always been top notch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're the more open world version of.
Yeah, off-road, street racing, kind of challenges kind of aspect. I don't know that there's much in the way of, I don't know, versus modes. But definitely you can try to beat people's times and whatnot.
Nice. So looking to racing, there you go. Super Mario Party. And you gave a score. You didn't get a score. You said you were going to give more of it in depth. Yeah. So 77. I mean, that's not bad. Like
not bad.
Rob said,
low.
It's kind of low for a first party Nintendo game, especially Super Mario Party. But I would think they're going to add on to like maybe like free DLC and stuff to make it improve it. Let's hope so.
You know, the last one
pattern lately.
Yeah, the last Mario Party was not great. It was okay. It was fun enough, but it wasn't the. They really haven't been good since maybe
5?
maybe the Wii,
something like that.
Probably the last one. Was it 9 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
The last one before the cart system came out was probably the best one they've ever released.
Sure.
And we're changing genres again. So Mega Man 11 came out on all platforms except PC. Sorry, as Xbox, PS4, Switch. Xbox 77, PS4 82, and Switch 80.
So who's this for? I mean, this is like for people that are like speedrunners, I would assume.
I guess.
I don't know.
I think it's all 8-bit, right?
The big Mega Man fan out there who just got to have the next bit of the story.
I mean, it's 11. It's the next part of like all the X's series are done. So they made actually another one. So as from what I heard, they brought it back to the like original like formula. And I mean, the scores show it. The scores are pretty good, right?
Yep,
so
decent.
Yeah. And so Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Anyone hear about this game? Like this game? Want to play this game?
I'm not big into the Mortal Kombat style of fighting. So
yeah,
that's
but if you love DBZ, I'm sure you'll love all the characters in it and just go crazy.
If you like the show, this is the show in a fighting game.
Right.
Which they've done and done and done again.
But it seems
it's not Xenoverse.
But like they've had Dragon Ball in general has had a lot of fighting games that are just like it's the show in the fighting game format. It's done it a million times.
But the score says it all because 88 is really high.
It's really high.
Yeah,
that's good
for fighting game fans and Dragon Ball Z fans. I mean, it seems like you're getting what they want. Just to be clear, there are no negative reviews for this on the Switch, or
That's
even
awesome.
Mixed. Every single review is positive. And it's right now the number 10 best Switch game of 2018.
Ooh.
Number 10.
Wow.
Not bad. There's been a lot of games come out, so
yeah.
But I also put in perspective is like what other
you play up to 6 people.
What other fighting games out there like have been really captured my eyes since I don't know like Mortal Kombat? Like I don't know.
Be careful with what you say.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate's terrible, right?
The fighting genre is very tight.
Yeah,
Infinite's really good, by the way.
Infinite's good. Yeah. Okay. I keep hearing terrible things about it, but okay.
Liars.
Okay. Astrobot Rescue Mission VR. I don't know. Anyone want to talk about that one?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Hold on, let me find her.
No, don't go the summary. But PS4 got 89.
It's a PS4 VR mission. I'm on like the VR PlayStation VR Reddit, and people are like really into this game right now. It's like what they're saying is probably their most favorite VR experience.
PS4 only on PS4, right?
Right on the PS4. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I wish they were. I kind of wish it was on like Vive and Oculus, because I kind of want to hear about it more.
Yeah, the Astro Bot is kind of like what I would consider the mascot for the PlayStation VR stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
Right.
yeah.
All right, that's a lot of gaming stuff we went through.
A lot of games.
Yeah,
So we're
sure.
we're in the what I would consider gaming season, where all the big releases are coming out.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair to say.
So I want to transition to movies
Yeah,
and TV.
transitioning away from gaming. I know we've already. It's gonna be a long one this week. We'll just go ahead and put that out there. Still got a lot to cover.
Mm-hmm.
We had some news about the Star Wars live action show that's going to be on the Disney streaming service. It's going to be called Star Wars: The Mandalorian, and it's going to be following a bounty hunter, not Boba Fett, after Episode 6 and the Outer Rim, between Episode 6, Episode 7, and it's called Out of the Reaches of the New Republic. There was a couple of stills that came out. Looks like your classic Django or Baba bounty hunter look kind of get up, but I'm interested to see what it's about.
Yeah, well, that's a period of time that's very underserved right now. I mean, it's still pretty new, but going from Return of the Jedi into Episode 7, there's not a whole lot of news, or there's not a whole lot of filling in. We know there was the Battle of Jakku, right? And we saw Rey come out of there, but really that whole 30-year gap is kind of an unknown, other than a few asides that have been said about Han Solo and and even Luke Skywalker was hiding away on an island the whole time.
We've had a couple of books that's covered a little bit of stuff in between there, a couple of comics, and of course the single player mission from the Battlefront 2 was in that period. But yeah, that's kind of it's not really covered much as the other periods of time. Like we have a lot of stuff between 3 and 4, but
But why should people care about what the Mandalorian is? What is a Mandalorian? That's sort of like the reason why. Yeah.
Any knowledgeable Star Wars fan would know what the Mandalorians are. So.
Yeah,
that's all you give them. That's whatever.
I mean, I'm not gonna. That's too much.
Scum and villainy. That's who they're affiliated with.
Can't talk too much about it.
That's a little underserved, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. And truthfully, the only time we've ever seen Mandalorians or bounty hunters on screen was Django there in Episode 2, and then Boba Fett in Episode 6, and that's all we've ever seen on screen. So
that's true. Yeah, they would do well to dig in a little bit into the expanded universe part and really dig into the scum and villainy, because that covers so much of the interesting parts of Star Wars, because that's really the flavor that keeps giving back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just rebellion, which is kind of annoying, and First Order, which I don't know. They're kind of like you laugh at them a little bit,
the edgy teens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited.
Sure.
I was never too big into these, but Netflix is actually developing the Chronicles of Narnia films and TV series.
No, they already came out with a couple of films in like the early 2000s, right?
And they're doing it again. There is, if you've ever read any of the Chronicles of Narnia, there's quite a bit of them.
Yeah, they're actually a very formative fantasy series, written around the same time as the Lord of the Rings, and actually the two writers were known to talk to each other. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were known to collaborate and talk about their, the fantasy worlds that they were creating. So I wouldn't say it's as gritty as Lord of the Rings, but it's certainly.
Well, as it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's kind of more kid focused.
And I feel that might be a little underserved to say that. Yeah, probably it's a little closer to the young adult side, but it's not. I wouldn't say
like. Yeah, I wouldn't totally put there either, but it is, I think, more
young adults, different theme.
Yeah, definitely a different theme
of hope and more fantasy like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
there's a lot of Christian elements in it too.
Right,
definitely some Christian elements. Obviously, the sacrifice and whatnot. So, It's a good series. I grew up on it. I remember watching the HBO animated version of it and absolutely loving it. So I would like to see them do it right and not totally make it Disney-fied.
Yeah.
Right.
And jumping in a little bit of the Marvel section of the show. They've come out and said that they're going to use James Gunn's version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, I guess everybody's still on board for it. I think it's still technically on hold.
Yes, they'll eventually bring him back. It's just a matter of time. I'm just gonna throw Rob prediction out there. What he did was, or what he said
Rob prediction.
Rob prediction. What he said was obviously horrendous and terrible, but
so 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's 10 years ago. He didn't do any of it. There was a time where it was like cool to be kind of shocking,
edgy,
and I think that's where he was at. Especially being a film director like he was, working on like Trauma pictures, which are known to be very irreverent and no holds barred. Do whatever you like.
And the culture's definitely changed since then, in terms of what you can and can't talk about.
Exactly. So I'm on the crowd that says, hey, look, people can change. In 10 years, people can come around and be better people than they were. I could see him coming back and directing this thing. It's a little too hot right now.
Yeah.
Give it a year or two. Hey, good news, everybody. James Gunn's coming back. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good stuff.
So that's my prediction.
Rob's prediction.
Yes.
Chris Evans wrapped filming on the Avengers 4, and he had this, I think it was an Instagram post or maybe a Twitter post. I don't know. I'm not big into social media. But it's pretty much looked like a big goodbye. He thanked everybody for all the all the years of hard work and how he's going to miss working with them and everything. But his contract, after this movie, his contract is over. And I don't think that, ever's come out and said he's extended his contract. So it's looking like Chris Evans is waving goodbye to the role of Captain America.
Yeah. It's not a surprise. A lot of people thought he was going to die in the last movie.
Yeah, he may die in this one.
Yeah, but there was some spoiler-ish kind of things that people were talking about.
Yeah, I think it was the Late Show or maybe the Night Show. One of those late shows that come on after I'm well asleep. But Mark Ruffalo was on there, and he accidentally, or quote unquote accidentally, or it's Mark Ruffalo, you know how he is. But he said the title of the next Avengers movie. They actually blurred his mouth and bleeped out what he said when it went live. But people actually went back, took the bleep off and covered his mouth, and apparently he said the title for the Avengers movies is The Last Avenger, which actually ties back to the first Captain America movie being called The First Avenger.
Yes.
So, that kind of coincides a little bit with the Chris Evans stuff.
Yeah, but, I'm going to call it a red herring, though.
Yeah.
There was some speculation that the name of the movie was actually going to be Avengers Annihilation.
It's a good title.
And, well, Annihilation is a pretty important comic series in the Marvel Universe where there's an invasion of kind of space locusts from the Negative Zone by the big bad called Annihilus. And if that were to come true, it could be pretty cool. It would also give a lot of reasons why you might have the Guardians of the Galaxy involved, because they were a big part of that series. Even if they don't make it this time for 4, I would like to see it still happen. I got a feeling that you're going to see Thanos not be very central in Avengers 4. Now, I'm going to look like an idiot in a couple months when that turns out to not be the case, but his story is kind of told.
Avengers 4 is supposed to be the part 2 of the movie we just saw.
Sure.
So I'm kind of leaning on more. It's probably going to be more Thanos focused, and maybe towards the end it leaves open for the next build up for the Adventure series.
Well, from the series that he was in the comics and everything, outside of the weird revenge plot or even the Adam Warlock stuff, he's kind of done.
Right.
terms of where they left off with Infinity War. So they'll have to go on to the next phase of his story, and I don't really know what that would be. I mean, it can't just be a 3-hour long fight with him and the rest of the half the Avengers, right?
Right.
That's a good point. Like, that'd be kind of boring, right?
I feel like they're going to go into another phase of something.
Right.
We'll see.
This is the end of Phase 3 and the beginning of Phase 4
Right.
of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it is meant to come to an end here.
Our current
Hence why they think
right.
Chris Evans is not going to be back.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey and everyone else.
According, and also because of what Mark Ruffalo said, he was quote unquote fired over Twitter. Of course, it's probably
the Russo brothers fired him over Twitter.
Yeah, probably more of a joking thing, but we'll see. It could be true. Who knows? He's done this before.
Yes, he wasn't really fired. It was the directors of the movie just said, "You're fired."
So, kind of Marvel stuff. I mean, technically, it is a Marvel movie, I guess. Not MCU, of course. But Venom. I went and watched it, so you don't have to. You're welcome. So, just want to say this movie had a lot of potential. It could have been. I personally think this movie could have been good if Spider-Man was there. I think my biggest complaint overall is that in the last fight, the big fight, what everything's been leading up to, the camera cuts, I think, less than a second for each frame. Like, it just cuts. So you really don't know who's doing what, who's hitting who's winning, who's losing. It's just, it happens. Everything happens so incredibly fast. You're like, what is going on?
That's hilarious. There's a Liam Neeson scene in one of the in the Taken movies where he like just jumps over a fence, and there's like 70 camera cuts of him like jumping over it. Like, it just like cuts like from one to the next. It takes him like a minute and a half to jump over this thing because of how many different cuts there are, and it's so it means nothing because he's just jumping over a fence.
And this is kind of the opposite of that. This is like they throw a punch and they just cut. Now someone's kicking. Cut. Now someone's falling backwards. Cut. It's too fast. It's also, I think it was rated PG. I think it should have been rated R or PG-13. I think it should have been rated R. It could have done more with rated R. I think that the Deadpool movies and Logan have proved that R is
well, this is Sony, not Fox. I mean,
this is
Sony's.
But
all
Venom
they've got to lean on was the original Spider-Man movies. That's all they got.
Venom is more, I think, is an edgy character, and in this movie, they kind of make Venom out to be Deadpool. Like, he's kind of the source of humor throughout the movie, and it's all wasted because it's kind of shoehorned. I personally think it's shoehorned into that PG-13 rating.
Ooh, can we get a spoiler? Can you tell us whether or not the character named Sin Eater shows up?
He does not.
Okay.
So
that's from the Venom origin story, where Venom or Eddie Brock was a news reporter covering the serial killer named Sin Eater, and they thought, because this might be a little. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he is the post-credit scene.
Oh, okay. So I guess he was then, huh?
But he's also Carnage.
That's Cletus Cassidy. So
no,
they're mixing up the timelines.
But it doesn't really matter, right? Because they're not going to make any more, right? Hopefully after this.
Tom Hardy is signed to 3 movies.
Oh my goodness!
I would have to say Tom Hardy does really good in this role. I think he's perfect for the role of Eddie Brock.
Okay.
He's the only thing I think it saves it from getting a lower review. I'm about to tell you.
Say better than, I can't remember the other guy's name, but from the '70s show.
Yeah, that guy. A lot better than that guy. But yeah, I didn't know who the big bad guy is. Riot is his name. Never heard of him before.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Riot's a symbiote variant.
Yeah,
he's like a kid. He's like a kid of Venom suit.
This movie is packed full of symbiotes. In this, they say that they say symbiote and symbiotion so many times in this movie. I never want to hear it again.
Symbiotion. Okay, that's a new one.
However they say it, but they say it a lot. I think Rob's gone.
That's fine though. That's fine.
But overall, I think I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's very, So, if you want
Not
to go
even
watch it,
not even worth a red box, is what you're saying.
I would say if you got an afternoon to kill, and
Yeah,
you're like,
okay.
might as well watch it because they're
Yeah.
probably going to make a second one anyway.
Gotcha. All right.
But apparently, critics are hating on this a lot, but apparently the general audience love it. It's kind of the whole, I forget what recent movie that was sort of the same thing, but people in the theater I was watching, they loved it. They thought it was great. And I'm up there like, man,
So you might think it's like the people that have no idea with the Marvel universe, and they're just like, okay, I enjoy whatever his action's going on.
Or they could just be
So-
diehard Venom fans, and they love it.
Okay, that's something else too. All right.
Yeah, but
How about a good movie?
a good movie. I haven't actually watched a good movie. There's a show I want to talk about.
Oh,
but I
show.
kind of
Yeah,
want to talk about the show with Rob, and Rob's not here, so
Oh no, Rob.
yeah, may have to
That's
hold
fine.
off on this one.
Yeah, we'll hold off on that one.
And we're kind of already 10 minutes over time. Rob's not here to talk about his comic. Oh wait, he could be coming back.
He could be coming back. That's fine. You can move on to maybe.
I'll talk about it, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He'll
there's
come
a-
back.
Really screwed up the stream. I just noticed.
Oh, he's
But
good. He's good now.
So there's a new show. It's called a limited series. So I'm not sure if it's on there for a short amount of time or if it's a long run show. Rob's back now.
Yes.
Welcome back, man.
But it's called Maniac.
Maniac.
I was going off so hard on Venom, and then all of a sudden it turns out I'm not there. And I was, why are you guys talking over me? I've got so much to say about this, but
Sony
talk about
stepped in.
me.
Sony stepped in. It's
Yeah.
okay.
So Maniac, it was Emma Stone and Jonah Hill, and it's a really odd setting. It's kind of set in modern times, but everything is it's still got the 80s and 90s technology. Like there's still payphones. They have the really big, big computers and
Napoleon Dynamite.
yeah, it's really
Feel.
odd, but it's cool. It's got the Outrun, the cyberpunk feel.
yeah, I'm just a few minutes in. I feel like I need to give it the appropriate amount of time.
Oh,
and,
you
like,
definitely
a lot of
do.
respect to watch it, because I started watching it with like on in the background. I'm like, oh wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah,
I'm like, no, I got to stop. I got to come back to this when I can like give it its deserved
Yeah.
attention.
It feels a lot like Blade Runner. I think like they show his apartment, and his apartment's like almost like, wow, this is like the Blade Runner story going on.
Mhm.
But yeah, I started watching it. The first episode's kind of weird, kind of odd, and you're like, what is really going on here? But as soon as you start watching the next one, you get caught into it, and I just binged the whole thing. I couldn't
Wow.
stop watching it.
Nice.
It was great. But yeah,
Cool.
it is odd. You do need to pay attention. It's a little bit trippy. So if you're into the kind of psychedelic stuff, stay out of that while watching this. And I would say I give it a 9 out of 10. It's probably one of the best things on Netflix.
9 out of 10.
Wow, that's high praise.
I'm
I'm gonna pick it up on your recommendation. Like I said, it's been on my list, kind of floating around. Like I need to watch it, but I haven't really focused on it. So yeah, I'll be checking it out.
Yeah, check it out, guys. It's a limited run. It's limited series. I don't know if it means it's going to be there for a short amount of time. But I definitely don't think there's going to be a follow up to it. But it is a good one off. It feels like a really long movie.
You know, last time he said this was Cobra Kai, and I binged that thing. So
Yes,
I think we might have to, Rob. I think we might have to.
I've seen Cobra Kai twice now. That was
Yeah.
so good.
It's so good. All right. Cool. Awesome.
And that's kind of it for me.
All right, so it's comics time.
Rob's Comic Corner.
Corner.
Well, and as we always do, hopefully you guys are ready for a little bit of racism with your comics.
Wait,
Oh, yes. Perfect.
There's an active discussion on Twitter right now,
Oh,
in which I say they have lost their mind regarding Halloween costumes and Black Panther costumes for kids,
Oh, no.
where apparently it's not okay for, or at least there's some people that believe, hey, if your kid, is not black, then they should not wear a Black Panther costume. So to me, I'm going to bring this up as a point of dialogue for everyone, not to get too deep, but just saying, like, wouldn't that be so amazing if like a bunch of white kids' favorite hero is Black Panther? Like, how awesome that is.
Right. Yeah.
And why shouldn't they be allowed to wear that costume? So I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I'm just going to say, look, if you're an adult,
let kids be kids.
Yeah, let the kids be kids. They can wear whatever they want. Don't shave your head and try to be a Dora Milaje, because that would be kind of rough. But yeah, the kids should be able to be whoever they want to be.
It's a superhero, man. Come on.
It's a superhero indeed. But apparently it is a war raging on Twitter right now. Feel free to ignore it like I have. Somehow it got up in my news feed, and I felt like I want to go ahead and bring it up just to put it out there.
Right. Right.
Sad.
Yeah. It's sad.
Adults are arguing over what the kids get to dress on Halloween. Please stop.
Yeah. Sure.
Please.
All right.
Stop.
I'll be honest with you. I would like to see more kids dressed up as Blade.
Hey.
Just running around killing vampires. That'd be fantastic.
No. Oh man.
Right.
Tell me something good.
Tell you something good.
Tell me something
I did tell you something good, and we're on the side of good here.
Yeah, we are.
But now I'm going to do a comic review, which hasn't happened for about a month now, actually.
It's been a while.
The last review I did was on a podcast, and I was out, obviously, last week. So coming back at it, one that I've been reading while I've been kind of out and under the weather was Thor, God of Thunder, Volume 1, The God Butcher.
It's a long title.
That is a long title. But hopefully my first two comments here will make it more palatable.
So metal, much metal.
It's so metal. There's so much metal.
Yes.
If Thor was an album cover of a 70s rock album,
yes,
it would be this comic series. Gore the God Butcher kills so many gods. His goal is to kill every god. And he seems to be doing a pretty good job of it because he is able to actually kill most of them.
I mean, he's got the title, so...
yeah, he kind of gave himself that name, though, so I could call myself that, too. But yeah, that is the... He's pretty hardcore with it, and he's one of the best big bads I've come across in my comic reading history. He is a perfect foil for Thor because he is as strong as Thor. And for everything Thor believes in, Gore is completely on the opposite side and able to he's pretty hardcore. So they actually have 3 Thors that have to come together to be able to fight him. So there's the Thor of the past, which is his young Viking raiding ravering days.
Okay.
There's the current Thor, which you could think of as Chris Hemsworth.
Is it
the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
The current Thor was the female Thor.
Nope. Present Thor. This is actually this predates a little bit. So this is actually from 2015.
Okay.
So it's a little bit before, but it's a very important series, and I picked it up and just read through it all, and I wanted to come back and talk about it. I could actually talk about volumes 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming up too, but we'll just talk about 1 for now. And then there's future Thor. After Thor has become the All-Father, replacing Odin after he has passed away. And actually, at the end of the universe, the 3 Thors come together to fight Gore the God Butcher and finally smite him. So it's got so much metal.
So metal.
And Rob's gone again. No, everybody's gone. I may be
Rob.
Gone. Oh,
No.
This is the worst.
He was trying to personify the metal. He's trying to yell into the mic here. See this picture is like, yeah, but his score, it says 8 out of 10. That's what he's about to say. 8 out of 10. Now we don't know the connection issues or anything, but he's got all the way through that review, and we always give thanks for them. Oh no. Are you gone too? You're back? You're back? Is it Discord? Is that what's happening?
Hello?
Hello? Oh no. I think everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm still streaming, so I think we're good. Discord may be having some issues, everybody. Bear with us. So, with that said, I think it's time to close it out. We're having some technical difficulties. It might be Discord, might be technical, might be on network side. But I'd like to give a shout out to Brandon and Rob. You know, we're doing the We Talk Nerd podcast, and given that we're on We Talk Nerd podcast, that's also in the networks with PixelPub gaming community. So go to pixelpubgaming.com. That's us. That's our gaming community. That's where you'll find our Destiny clans. That's where you'll find our Warframe clans. That's where you'll find our World of Warcraft guild. That's where you'll find your Arc servers. We have a whole bunch of stuff in this gaming community, and you can talk to us in person at all times using Discord. And we have a Discord invite on that website, pixelpubgaming.com. All right? You can listen to the podcast on basically any platform. YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Pocket Casts, and even straight on our on our homepage of our website. So, yeah, keep it up. Get on Discord, and we'll see you next time. All right.